Folks, and we're back. Tuesday night, August the 28th, 10
Monday
p.m.
night.
Eastern Standard Time. What's that?
It's Monday night, Donnie.
Is it Monday night? Look at that. Yeah, see? I mean, I've been on with Jeff. I haven't done a show since what? Friday morning? Off Saturday, off Sunday, off Monday morning today, and I'm coming on the air like it's Tuesday already, and we're already halfway through the week. Welcome to the show. I mean, we're back. You know, the band is in business. I'm your host, Donnie Rightside, my partner in crime, Jeff Nady, the big man on campus. Jeff, I got to get my wheels loosened up again, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, you haven't been. You're not on the air. You've been on vacation. You've been off too long.
Look, hey, look. I didn't. The one thing when I came to SBR, I said I need a lot of vacation time, and that's how I'm going to play it off as, man.
Yeah, no, you wrote that in your contract. I heard. So good stuff. I hope it was paid vacation. Yeah, we're back. This is my third show today, Donnie. I did the show earlier today. I had the soccer show at 3, and I'm here at 10 for yet another show. Welcome back to everyone out there. As always, this is the Late Night on Campus. The main goal of this show is to recap the night in sports from a betting perspective, chat with our friends in the chat box, and just chat about whatever we really want. Donnie, we will have a Donkey of the Day tonight, which I do them sporadically. We'll have one tonight, which there's not been a bigger donkey in a while than this person. So we'll discuss that. Welcome into everyone. Joe, King Panero, Kyle, Orman, Emza, Juan, everyone out there, welcome in. We appreciate you out here. We're glad you're able to chat with us tonight. Donnie, a lot went on this weekend. We'll get into baseball a little bit. We'll get into a lot of things, but how was your weekend? Did you have a nice weekend, Donnie?
Oh, great weekend. I mean, down the shore, I mean, obviously I was probably within a stone's throw of you for half the weekend. Spent a lot of time at Margate, hit the boardwalk today in Ocean City. Obviously spending time in Brigantine was great. The temperature, you know, in that mid to lower 70s, but still great beach days, even though it was windy. So, I mean, it all worked out.
I was out yesterday on the water, and it was nice in the back bay, but it was really choppy. And today it was sweater weather, man, down here. I mean, it's real windy today. It still is. And, but it's been nice overall. I mean, it was decent yesterday. Today was just real windy.
There were no boats out today whatsoever, and I can't blame them.
I kind of saw it coming yesterday. It was really choppy yesterday, and, today it was quite the same. The ocean was, I mean, you saw it. The ocean was crazy today. But, again, good to hear, Donnie. We had the fight this weekend, and this is really putting a bow on that finally.
Yep.
Kind of get your opinion. I know you watched it. What were your overall thoughts, Donnie?
My overall thoughts were, finally a Floyd Mayweather fight was worth it. Because to me, I was rooting for Conor McGregor just for the spectacle of it, because it would have been interesting to see if he caught him flush and knocked him down or whatever it was. But the one thing I was happy with, which in the first the thing I wanted to see, actually, Jeff, was Conor McGregor charge him in the first 1, 2, or 3 rounds, which we didn't get. So plan B was Floyd better finish this fight, because if we're going to get one of these dog and pony shows where Floyd doesn't really care, he's just tapping on McGregor's jaw and trying to win by points and not caring about finishing him off, I wanted to see one of two things happen. Either A, McGregor's going to knock him out, or B, Floyd was going to finish him. And I got my wish. Good time. Boys were over. We enjoyed the fight. No complaints from me.
Yeah, I think I think if you bought the fight, you were happy. I mean, it was a good fight to buy. There were good undercards. Actually, there were some really good fights on the undercard. Let me ask you, you watched the undercards, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of shit Gervonta Davis picked up from that cheap shot. Did you think that was a cheap shot, Donnie?
I mean, it might have been a cheap shot, but
he was hurt before that, though. The fighter.
I didn't think it made even a difference. So what, the fight got ended. Are you telling me your boy was going to get beat? He wasn't going to get beat in that fight. So, I mean, I had no problem with the finish. And actually, Jeff, I actually liked it because it might have cut off another 15 minutes you might have had to watch, so we had to get to the main event sooner. So I liked
it. It's interesting, a clean sweep from the McGregor camp this week. I mean, Andrew Tabiti beat Steve Cunningham. Badou Jack beat Nathan Cleverly. And Gervonta Davis beat Francisco Fonseca, and then Floyd won. So a four-peat for those guys at the McGregor gym. So, they were all on the card, and they all got the job done. Hey, big man, Portugal -4 against Faroe Islands. Yeah, I don't like that. Again, I need to see Ronaldo's status. I need to see what his thinking pattern is. Faroe Islands aren't a bad side. I don't lump them into Gibraltar and San Marino. Faroe Islands have improved. Again, the game, I believe, is in the Faroe Islands. I would imagine weather there is pretty nice this time of the year, but that is not a place you want to go play football. Donnie, you got to see their stadium, the Faroe Islands. It is absolutely beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right under a mountain range. It's just absolutely fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful country there. A very small country, basically in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But they're not a bad. They're not a good football side. But they're not bad either. I'll have to look more into that. We're going to go over all the World Cup qualifiers this week. There are a lot of them. Is Gervonta and Lomachenko a possible fight, big man? Yeah, I think at this point it's clear Gervonta has to step up and wait. He didn't make weight.
To talk about that, Jeff. I mean, most people don't know that boxer, know boxing overall. Yeah. How undisciplined and how unprofessional do you have to be to come into that fight and miss the weight?
Yeah, it's definitely not a good look for Gervonta. Keep in mind he's 22 years old. And I made the point at this point that Gervonta went from being pretty much a nobody to a worldwide name in a matter of 6 months. I mean, 6 months ago, no one knew who Gervonta Davis was. He was a kid from Baltimore that had a lot of potential, but Floyd picked him up. Now he's on the big cards all of a sudden. I think really, to be honest, Famous hit him quick. He didn't have a car in his own name. Now all of a sudden he has a Range Rover and he's wearing furs and all sorts of stuff. He has to be a professional and he has to learn how to be a professional. There was talk that he had a cold this week. Look, we've all had colds. It's not the greatest. Couple weeks of your life. I know you had one. I had one, Donnie. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. He did look noticeably not himself Saturday night. He still got the job done, but he has to jump up weight. I think for him, featherweight's over. He's got to move up. I could see Lomachenko, sure. That would be a huge fight for him. I'd be interested to see kind of where those odds are. But, yeah, I think the next logical step would be to move up in weight. But, yes, to answer your question, Donnie, it's not a good look. It is fairly something that can't happen again. That's not something I don't think Floyd Mayweather is very happy about. Was it just mere to Conor McGregor have a semi-hard-on at the weigh-in? No, he definitely did. And if you actually watched the weigh-in over, many people actually laughed about it. I believe Floyd Mayweather Jr. Said something about it, and Leonard Ellerbe was laughing as well. I don't know if he did or not. If it's me, Conor probably did that on purpose. He's like a hardo like that. He wants to be the manly man. I don't know.
He said he would finish him in under 4 rounds, Jeff. No?
How'd that work out, buddy? How'd that work out? It's funny because all I heard was how Conor landed 111 punches. And Michael Rappaport said it best too. You could love or hate Michael Rappaport. I like him. I think he's really
he's awful on Barstool. I actually really used to like him. Now he's just annoying.
Yeah, on Barstool, he's not great.
How did he go from funny to annoying though? That was really weird.
Well, he's actually, he's just a guy that doesn't give a shit. I mean, that's kind of his shtick. But he said it perfectly. I mean, Floyd got hit by 111 punches, and none of them bothered him at all. I mean, and if you saw, Donnie, the punches Conor was throwing, they were weak-ass jabs. Weak-ass jabs. And, you could throw 111 punches, but none of them – he only hit 25% of his punches. Only 25% of his punches he converted. So it wasn't he didn't fight that good. Donnie, question for you. I'll let you answer this one. I don't know if you have any. What's your favorite 1-2 spots on the NFL Week 1 card? Do you have any?
With the Week 1 NFL card, I've discussed it. And again, I haven't capped these games, but if the situation looks right for me, that I would like, and I spotted these, a couple weeks ago. I love Green Bay Week 1, and I love the Dallas Cowboys Week 1. Those 2 spots.
Yeah, if I could throw it out there, I like the Eagles Week 1. I think they beat the Redskins. I think that line's went down. People are betting the Eagles, and I think for good reason. They've had decent success in Washington. I know not over the last 2 or 3 years, but overall they've had pretty good success.
I'm feeling better and better about that game. If you would ask me again a couple weeks ago or even a month ago, that was Washington Redskins for me, just because I don't like the spot opening day. And again, the Washington Redskins have had the Eagles number over the past 2 years, but the more and more I see the Eagles, the more I like about them. So I'm leaning Eagles in that situation at this point here.
Yeah, as far as that though, I haven't broken that NFL card down at all. I know that's more of Donnie's forte. I guess I could kind of say I like Atlanta a little bit, but I don't really want to lay 7 in the first game of the year on the road. But we'll get that closer and closer. Still got a couple weeks till that starts. But overall, we'll put a bow on the fight. It was fun. Looking forward to down the road. I had a good guest Saturday night. We're going to have him on again to chat more about Canelo and Gennady Golovkin, which would be a really good fight. So we'll get back to boxing in a couple of weeks. Big Simon's in here. Vig is Donnie. I've talked to Vig a lot lately. He's a really good guy. I like Vig Simon. I hope to meet him one day. Really like his style. He's a good dude. Jeff, do you like Florida Atlantic University plus 11? No, I don't. I think Navy will beat them by 2+ touchdowns. I think Florida Atlantic's overrated. Are they a decent team? Yes. Have they improved? Sure. But we're putting our stock a lot into Lane Kiffin and a quarterback that couldn't make it anywhere. And now, just because Lane Kiffin's desperate, he gives him a shot. Navy is a good football team. I think they're a team that's going to win a lot of games this year. If Lane Kiffin's not the coach of Florida Atlantic, Donnie, because
is anybody paying attention? You're right. Is anybody paying attention?
It's a clown show down there. So no, I do not like Florida Atlantic. Will I bet on that game? I don't know, but I'll tell you this: if you like teasers, which I know college teasers can be things that people don't like to do, but if you can get them under a touchdown, I think it's a pretty good play. What's up in Doc Sports? Are they the real deal? I'm not going to listen, Michael. Guy, I'm not going to – we're good handicappers. I don't care about anyone else. I care about a couple people here at SBRforum.com, and that's about it. As far as Doc Sports, Indian Cowboy's a great guy. I like him a lot. I don't know. I can't comment on Doc Sports. I don't know much about them. But you're here, so why don't you just chat with us. Donnie, let's get into baseball. What do we have?
Yeah, had some baseball games today. We went over, and finally, Jeff, after the last 2 weeks – of opening up and trying to claw myself back, we actually started on a positive note with a nice easy winner with the Baltimore Orioles going over the total with the Seattle Mariners. 7-6 final there. Zach Britton came in. One guy got on, but they got out of it with a double play. Crazy game. 1 million base runners in that one. Could have went either way if you were leaning towards the underdog in Seattle in that game. It actually was a Seattle line and looked like a decent Seattle game for a while. But again, not too much pitching in this one. Either way, Tillman's been a mess this year. And obviously the guy starting for the Seattle Mariners, Gonzalez, he's a mess as well. Literally only goes like 3 to 4 innings per game. So an interesting one overall, but picked up an easy 7-6 winner in that one. Bats came out to play today, Jeff, in Baltimore.
Yeah, this one we talked about on the show earlier. I mentioned I like the over. I thought it was one of the better plays on the card. Now 5 of 6 have gone over for Gonzalez. He's been he's been throwing batting practice seemingly. Tillman again. Tillman's been a mess this year.
Yeah.
This one just looked easy. I didn't really understand the move from 11 to 10. I didn't really get that. I think the only thing that I was concerned with here, Donnie, was the wind. I know the wind was blowing in this game, but didn't seem to really matter. I don't even know if there were any home runs in this game.
Yeah, there was a couple. There were a couple.
But Baltimore was really good. We're running scoring position for the most part. Easy over. Good call here. I like Baltimore in every sense except for Tillman. So the over was the play. Good call.
Yeah, no, cashing good. One of those things again that yesterday I was on the Baltimore under 2-1. There were 1 million shots in that game for people to score runs. And I just thought one of those things where the dam builds up and eventually gives way, and it gave way tonight. It was great. Started off early in the second inning. They started popping away. So those are nice, Jeff, when you get them in the 6th inning. You can sit back and relax. Now we'll keep it moving down the list here. Aaron Nola, Jeff. Yeah, what's up, man?
Quickly. Cameron, I love 3-team 10-point teasers. Yeah, look, I don't do anything more than 2. 3 teams, I don't. Again, I don't do those.
Hard, man. They're hard. I mean, if you're going to take a teaser, probably the NFL is the place to do it just because, a lot of these games are close. I mean, you see the statistics, anything 6 points or less or 7 points or less, and you're getting 6. I mean, I hear you on that. I don't agree with it. But, yeah, anytime you're adding more and more and more, I mean, why not just, a 5-team, 15-point teaser? You know what I mean?
None business with a cheery outlook on life here in the chat box. Listen, none business. We come in here to talk and have fun. I don't think it's necessary that we talk about destruction coming to America. Go to some Antichrist chat if you want to talk about that. But thanks for the cheery scene.
Yes. Aaron Nola, Jeff, returns back to form. 6-1 victory over Atlanta, staying just under the under of 8.5. Looks like actually 8.5. It closed across the board. Phillies loaded up the bases, could have tacked on a little bit more throughout that game, but wasn't for naught. Nice winner. High line, Jeff. I mean, if you're going to lay 150 with the Phillies, I guess tonight was the night to do it. But even with Aaron Nola in the mound, I'm more of a 125, 135 guy at home. I wasn't going to lay that 150, but they certainly came to play tonight.
Yeah, I will say this. I mean, they've had a couple bad games, but it seems like their pitching has gotten better. I mean, it seems like every game I see with the Phillies, they're holding teams in check. Their bullpen's improved, it seems like. Look, they're not winning anything, but it's nice to see some players playing well. Rhys Hoskins obviously has been on fire. He had a hit tonight, another RBI, or a couple hits tonight, and an RBI. So, a nice night tonight for the Phillies. And the Braves just get considerably worse.
Yeah, coming back also. A lot of interesting things happening for the Phillies. Got Odubel Herrera and Aaron Altair set to come up off the DL sometime this week. And you get that young energy in the lineup. No longer a laughing stock, Jeff, 1 through 8. That's going to be a really decent, I don't want to say a great lineup, but a good Major League Baseball lineup in a couple days here. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Look, I mean, you got to go out and get some decent veterans. I mean, you can't just have 1 through 9 young.
No,
players.
I'm saying this year. I'm just saying that's what it was a couple weeks ago. I mean, they were awful before Hoskins. I mean, pathetic type of offense. But now you're going to add some young pop and speed to that lineup.
And this is what happens when you put young players up. I mean, we talked about it all year, and you look all of a sudden, Cesar Hernandez 288. Nick Williams, 286. Hoskins, a power threat at 309. Pedro Florimon, 367. It's nice to see, Tommy Joseph not constantly in the
exactly. Yeah. Tommy Joseph's of the world, exactly.
Yeah, right. Cameron Rupp's at 228 for Christ's sakes. Again, you got to keep bringing these guys up. If they have more people, Scott Kingery should be up next.
They won't. Not going to bring him up this year because they would have to protect it. Here's the best part. They're not going to bring him up here because they'd have to protect him under Rule 5 next year. And I'm saying to myself, he should be your starting second baseman. Right. What are you protecting him for? You're going to leave him out in the Rule 5 draft? I mean, what are we talking about, man?
Yeah,
crazy.
Exactly.
Well, just the way the Phillies like to operate, Jeff. Keep it moving down the list. Max Scherzer, welcome back to the mountain at 11-2 victory over Urania Miami. I saw a lot of people out there saying, hey, man, Urania's hot. That hot Miami offense looked like Scherzer came the ball tonight and covered that over easily. I believe it closed, Jeff, 7.5 out there in most of the outlets. That covered 11-2.
Look, I mentioned on the show today, I like the Nationals in this game. I mean, we can cry and complain and say that Urania's good and whatever, and he's been very solid this year. But tonight he wasn't very good. Dustin McGowan was bad as well, and inning and 2/3, give it 4 runs. Scherzer was Scherzer. This is what he does. When the Marlins are not hitting, they are a brutal baseball team. They go through these stretches. They did against the Phillies where they just can't hit anything. And Scherzer's dominated the Marlins lately. I wasn't looking to bet against him tonight. You had to figure Miami would cool off at some point on the road against a team that's 288 at home. Even without Bryce Harper, this lineup continues to hit. 1.5 was the play here, and it came in.
Yeah, they'll be fun. They'll be fun to watch as it goes down the stretch. Jess, I'm watching just the Oakland Los Angeles Angels game just started here, and Albert Pujols is at the plate. I had a game yesterday with the Houston Astros, the squarest game I've taken this year, Jeff. I like the spot. I like the situation. 80% of the public was on Houston yesterday. I believe the line closed, 130, 135. I got it at 131. Make a long story short, it ended up winning, but a couple funny things in that game. Number one is now you walk Mike Trout to get to Albert Pujols with the bases loaded, and he did one of my favorite things in baseball yesterday, Jeff. This guy launched one to center field, hit the wall in center field, and he got it wasn't one of those, Jeff, it really ricochets hard off the wall, and the guy takes that round at first and just throws on the brakes halfway. He's like, I can't even risk it. What a freak bounce. But he literally hit a double off the wall to center field, and by the time they panned to Albert Pujols, he was barely rounding first when the ball was coming back into the infield. I know he's owed a lot of money. I know he's a future Hall of Famer. But how do you get around him being in your lineup anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah, he does hit some home runs once in a while, but he doesn't hit for average. He strikes out a lot. He's incredibly slow, and he leads the complete major leagues ever in grounding into double plays. So he is a bit of a liability. You put him right behind Mike Trout, and tonight Mike Trout's not even playing. So I actually took a shot with Oakland tonight.
That line drop. Since when is a Major
sucked.
League Baseball player outside of pitcher, Jeff, worth 40 cents in the closing line? That's astounding.
I'm kind of annoyed because I usually take dogs early, but I just kind of forgot about it, and I ended up getting 130 on it. But again, I mean, when you don't have Mike Trout in that lineup, I mean, it is favorable. And again, I also have Andrew Heaney pitching, who it's never a bad thing. So we'll see what happens. I also have I took a small play on San Diego late. And again, I'm not betting a lot of money. Just kind of have some things going on. I like the plays, and baseball's pretty much wrapped up for me. But Boston, they're up 6-3 here. A nice seventh inning for them, 4 runs to take a nice lead here, looking to close it out with Kimbrel on the mound. That looks good for Boston backers.
Yeah, and how about, Jeff, another game, 8-0 right now, Tampa Bay, Kansas City. What the hell happened to Kansas City's offense?
I mean, they have been a mess. A first team this year to get shut out in the series over the weekend. They didn't score one measly run tonight.
They scored again tonight. Either. Amazing.
4 straight games without a run. That's pretty amazing. And all this has been done at home, I believe. Once a pretty burgeoning atmosphere, Kauffman Stadium, but they've been a really inconsistent team all year. I mean, they went through like a 2-month stretch where they were really good offensively, and now all of a sudden they're just lost at the controls. So a tough night tonight. They can't hit Pruitt. Pruitt's a guy you should be able to hit. Cubs are up 5-0 against Pittsburgh. Michael Montgomery's in now at this point. Williams tonight, your boy, wasn't very good, Donnie.
No. I mean, it's sooner or later the Cubs are going to wake up after getting spanked around in Philadelphia. But 5-0 in that game. Minus 186 for the Chicago Cubs. I'm not really interested in that game either way. I don't even know if I even looked at that for more than 5 minutes overall in this game. I had my eye on a couple other games as well. I know you're going to pick up that victory on Boston. I was actually leaning towards a first 5 wager with Stroman. Again, just trying to isolate a spot which I thought he might win, and he actually did win over the first 5 innings. But again, Jeff, if we're going to compare about, if you're going to say we're going to go 3-3 late in the game with Boston and Toronto, you tell me whose bullpen lines up better in that situation, right?
Right. Jeff and Donnie, can you guys talk about how to find a bookie? Sportsbookreview.com. Belgium -7 against Gibraltar. Jesus. I'm actually taking the Belgium in the under 7.5 in that game. Gibraltar might be the worst team in the world, honestly. It's definitely possible. And yes, they have laid 6-7 goals. I like the under 7.5. I think it's like a 6-0, 7-0 game. And you got to remember, Belgium has a big game on deck against the second place team in that division. It's possible they'll rest people in the second half. I would go under 7.5 in Belgium. I think you get like minus 135 on that price. Jake Googie, get him out of here, please. I've seen him on other people's chats.
Says he loves the show. Guan, but I want to continue to make more money.
I've seen him on. I'm going to stick up for my other people at SBR. He's been on other people's shows talking stupid. So Jake, go do that somewhere else. I like Stafford. He's a UGA guy, but he's highest paid. I don't know about that. Well, look, I mean, throws for a lot of yards, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's the product of the time. It doesn't mean you're the best player in the NFL. It just means your contract came up at an opportune time. The same way any quarterback will be. I always laugh when I see, Aaron Rodgers, who signs a $110 million deal, whatever he did, and then 2 years later he's mad because somebody else signed again. Well, that's just when the contract comes up. Doesn't mean you're the best quarterback in the league, but if you're a good starting quarterback and it's your turn to get paid, you will get paid.
Right, and if we've seen anything, it's tough to find a good quarterback. And you can knock Stafford all you want, but he's still way better.
Right? Exactly. Who's better?
You got to take care of your people. I mean, that's how every job is. If you want someone to do well, you want people to work hard, you have to take care of them. Donnie, we did skip a game, and it might be the most intriguing game of the night. Colorado was laying a big number at home tonight. Yeah. And as the day went on, and as I saw more and more people taking Colorado, I thought to myself, 81% of the tickets are on the Rockies tonight. Senzatella was really poor in this game. I don't know if he went out with an injury or what, but Chris Russin's in the game. And the Tigers, without Miggy, without V-Mart, without JD Martinez, who was traded, or up 4-3 and looking to break a lot of people's banks with the parlays tonight.
Mig wasn't in that game. What, Mig sat out too?
Miggy's suspended, isn't he?
No, he's in. No, he's probably still going through the appeal process. He's in there tonight.
I don't believe he is.
I got him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, either way, he sucks anyway, so it doesn't matter if he's in there or not. He's just not any good. And that's the thing about Miguel Cabrera. I forgot he did do the appeal. Even if he's in there, he has not been a factor this year. He's had a really poor year. Yeah, long way to go in this one. It's at Coors, but interesting early on here.
Ooh, how about this, Jeff? Boston, Toronto, just saw it flash up 6-5. Let me get this game on. What is the deal here, huh?
2-run home run.
Oh, it's got 2 outs, though.
With 2 outs. Yeah. Justin Smoke's had a good year, by the way.
Yeah. Been around the block a little bit.
36 home runs. Good, really good night for him.
Yeah, by the way, getting back to your point, Jeff, on Detroit and Colorado, I mean, do you have to have your – I don't care who's on the mound, what's going on. How do you lay over 2-1 in Colorado? Anybody can win at any time in that game, and ridiculous stuff happens there. You know? Yeah, it's not a pitcher's ballpark where maybe a really good pitcher dials it up. Anything happens there. Anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Freeland's pitching or someone. It's Senzatella. People close to Ezekiel Elliott reportedly believe he will lose his appeal, by the way.
He is going to lose his appeal.
Yeah, I think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to lose his appeal. I mean,
I'm hoping for maybe a game off or so. I mean, obviously, I'm an Eagles fan, so I would like to even more. But
I mean, do you people actually believe that arbitrary doesn't work for the league? I mean, come on. I mean, we're all smarter than that, aren't we? The appeal
you're allowed to appeal, and maybe they'll appeal something, but I think it's pretty much stone cold in their fact. I mean, maybe he gets it knocked down to 5 games or something like that. But
at the end of the day, we've said it before, they're making a scapegoat out of him. They don't. They're not doing it because they don't like him. He just happened to be the guy. I mean, he's the guy that they've screwed up on domestic abuse. And they know that. Yeah. They have to set an example, and he happens to be the guy that they have to do it with. Kimbrel's been blowing saves left and right. Well, actually, he hasn't. He hasn't blown many at all. His ERA is 1.62. Coming into this inning, it was 1.31. So
hasn't blown it yet either. So
overall, he's been one of the better closers in the league. So I'm not sure what you mean there. Again, I love when closers blow a league. It's like they fucking suck. They've been blowing leads like crazy, and it's like it's usually Greg Holland or someone else. It's like, dude, I mean,
yeah.
They're one of the better closers in the league.
Yeah, and you're also auto keyed into it because I remember there was especially this year, Fernando Rodney's not having a bad year, and I remember one of the games I had. He came on the close, gave up a couple hits. They ended up still winning the game, but you get Rodney's such a bum, and it was like 16 straight starts where he hadn't even given up like a run and like 10 straight innings that he's pitched without giving up a hit. He's awful. You only remember what you remember most of the time.
Buxton is the best center fielder in the league defensively. He's in a class of his own. I disagree. Pilar, I take over a lot of people.
I like Pilar. The guy I liked before he had his, ground ball issues. I was a huge fan. Kevin Kiermaier has stolen more money away from me over the past 3 years than any fielder in baseball. That guy is just like Spider-Man out there.
Yeah, he's like Jim fucking Edmonds, man.
Oh my God, everything hit out there. But you're right, Pilar makes some freaking catches, man. Whenever you get those center fielders that you go against, because typically most people in baseball, I myself as well, are over bettors. So we remember these center fielders that make ridiculous ass ones. And the one that almost got me yesterday, Jeff, was the 2-out triple by McCann for Houston, which Mike Trout couldn't get to. 9 times out of 10, he gets that ball when I'm going against him, but he didn't get it yesterday, and I thank him for that.
Yeah, Kimbrel has Bautista's on with 2 outs. Kendrys Morales is up. So the tying run is on base here, winning run at the plate. So do have a walk-up situation here in Toronto. We'll keep up to date with that one. One other score here. It is scoreless out in sunny San Diego. It is 0-0. Padres and Giants. Jeff Samardzija against Walis Chacin.
Yeah, that's a one you could probably put yourself to sleep to if you watch that one. No Buster Posey in that game. I can't imagine the rating bonanza down there in Southern California.
Take San Diego, by the way. I took them earlier in the show, and I have them here today. Donnie, where are we going here? What did I want to talk about first?
You want to talk about a little Houston action down there tonight, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to get into that here in a minute. But again, feel free, guys, to Send in any questions. Are we going to talk about the college football card? No, we're not. We're talking about that all week. Tonight will not be one of those times. Feel free. We'll talk about it all week. You have a show on Saturday. We'll be breaking down.
Dip into a little bit on the right side of campus. I mean, yeah,
sure.
we got plenty of time for that card. Plenty.
Buxton is leading defensive runs. Okay, listen, Kevin, good for him. He's not a good hitter, and overall, he's
hitting a little bit better. I mean, I used to rip the hell out of Buxton. He's a little bit better lately.
But overall in his career, he's been majorly disappointing.
Yeah, you're right.
That's kind of my point. Okay, listen, I guess tonight we're going to try to prove our points to everyone. Okay, I don't agree with you. I think Kimbrel's a pretty good closer. They must have been very spaced out because I don't remember them. And he's not working on his fifth. He's going to get out of this batter right here. Houston, which we've seen these happen, hurricanes with, Katrina and Sandy and Hurricane Floyd and all these different places. Okay, Kevin, you agree. You like Brian Buxton. Move on. I get it.
Kimbrel got out of it.
There we go. So young Jeezy, there we go. He didn't blow a save. Okay, Kevin, move on. We get it. You like Brian Buxton. Good for you. But as far as Houston, we've seen these pictures, and, we've had, I know you've probably had it happen, and we've all had to deal with water at some point in our homes and things like that. But, this situation is just really sad. I mean, you can't get in the way of the weather, unfortunately. It's one of those things that, we're all kind of numb to facing. It just kind of happens, whether it's a snowstorm or a hurricane or a tornado. You can't get in the way of weather, Donnie. And this is a very sad situation. I mean, it just seems like this storm is just sitting on top of this place and just won't move. And it's a shame. It really is. And I mean, you get 40 inches of rain. That's amazing.
I can't. And then I saw the headline tonight is like the hurricane is strengthening, going to come back and hit them again or something like that.
It's amazing. But, during times like this, we look to community leaders. We look to, the higher governments. We look to just nice people that want to be, good human beings.
Yeah, you see what was it? The Cajun Army, where like 20 guys met up down in New Orleans and drove over with their boats to try to help out. Yeah, it's the American spirit, man.
You guys, that is true. Look, if I was ever down in a place like that, I'd get on my jet ski and go help people.
Jet ski. There were people on the jet skis. Yes,
that's what you do as a human being. And, in this world, I know there's a lot of bad things happening, but what we expect are people that are God-fearing individuals, people that are sent to the world by God to protect. These Christian people that are sent by God to spread the good news. We expect those people to step up and give a little bit of their time and treasure to all of us. But what could we expect more from Joel Osteen, that charlatan scumbag that sits on TV and spreads the good word for a fucking dollar in his pocket? And this is why religious groups get such bad names. They get these charlatan type names because of people like Joel Osteen, a TV evangelist whose main goal in life is to get rich off spreading the good news when all of it is bullshit. Okay, you have a mega church that can house so many people that have not asked to be involved with this. They didn't ask for this. They're living their lives just like all of us, and weather hits. And you keep your church. By the way, I noticed his church wasn't flooded out. How'd that happen?
He tried to put it out there like, all the roads are closed, and people drove right over there and started snapping pictures.
And I got to tell you, I love the whole, all we got to do is pray. It'll be fine. Yeah, look, it hasn't worked. Why don't you shove a little money down people's throats? How about that? That might work. That might help some people out. Why don't you give 10, 15 million to help out these people? Why don't you open your church, the mega church you had to build to put all those people? Why don't you put them in there? No, we'll get by with prayer. That hasn't worked. Okay.
Now, Jeff, here's the best part about this whole thing, though. I mean, you're supposed to be Christian. I mean, like the goal of normal the church is for the poor people, right? Like, give me your sinners, give me your poor. I'll take care. I'll clothe you. I'll feed you. I'll help you out. That's usually the general direction, especially growing up in a Catholic background like I had. That's always what they preached. No matter what happens, the church is going to reach out. We'll always, take your sins, blah, blah, blah. So he's down there. Let's just say I see from a business standpoint what he's talking about. I'm not opening my 18,000 seat church if I accept refugees in here who got blown out and don't have anywhere to go, they might stay a month, 2 months, or 3 months. But look at the flip side of this. As a businessman, first of all, you're already rich. Your church has millions of dollars. You have an 18,000 seat church. Ridiculous already. But imagine the goodwill, Jeff, this guy would have gotten if he opened the church, fed the people, told them they can stay as long as they can. And what would that pay on the back end for his quote unquote business? Enormously, right? So now what you do is say, well, I don't want to ruin my church because I'm going to let in some people who shouldn't be there, might overstay. You just do damage control in your own business. What a moron.
And you know what's amazing, Donnie? I haven't even gotten to the best part of this story.
Yeah.
I've read recently online in the last half an hour that all of a sudden Joel's going to open the church up. He's got beds everywhere. He's ready to be helpful to everyone. And that's the worst fucking part of this story. We had to force you. We had to embarrass you on TV for you to actually fucking do something about it. And you're doing it because you're putting your tail between your legs and saying, wow, I don't look like the good Christian that I claim to be. So I'm going to open the church up and everyone can come in. And I'm Mr. Prayer all of a sudden. That's the worst part of the story. Not only did he not open it in general, but now that he's being vilified, now he's going to all of a sudden open the church up. Pathetic. I can't stand Joel Osteen. I think he's a freak anyway. But, I actually gave this group Donkey of the Day earlier, and I'm going to rescind it because they actually made another bad PR move today that was fixed. A disgusting move by the Hamilton Tiger Cats to allow Art Briles to come on as an assistant coach. They declared tonight that the Briles journey will not be happening after all. They've decided to not do that. Donnie, we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you heard about it, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL announced that Briles would become an assistant coach there.
I saw that, yeah.
And I guess tonight they're not going to do it. But the big thing that I thought was interesting is they hosted a Heels and Hugs night at their stadium tonight to attract women fans. But then you hire Art Briles. I mean, what kind of sense does that make?
He wants everybody to get raped in there.
Yeah. Joel Osteen announced that his church is inaccessible due to flooding. Actually, that's not true. There's been various pictures reported of his church completely fine.
But he's praying for everybody, though.
Correct. He's praying for everyone. He's on 2 knees asking God for help. That's worked. It seems like that's worked.
Jeff, did you see there was, I don't know if it was CNN, but a local one. It was spinning around Twitter today. You had a black guy and his kid walking up the street. They lost everything, and all that guy was just saying, like, he was lucky, praise God, and, what a great outlook on life overall. Like, you lost everything you had, but you still had you there, and your son was safe, and he just had a good outlook. I love stuff like that where some people say, I lost it all, I can't even get it back, I can't do this, and all he cared about, Jeff, was he was safe, his son was safe, and you know what? We'll make it. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, some of the forgiveness that you see from people is pretty amazing. I remember I saw a video, and it's went around on the internet by now, of it was like in Oklahoma or some place like that, Tornado Alley somewhere, and there's an older woman. She's probably in her 70s, and you can tell she probably never left that town her whole life. I mean, just one of those people, and she lived in like a mobile home park, and they go over to her, and her house is just destroyed. You can't see anything. It just looks like a big eraser just came and just roughed it off the planet. And she's sitting there and she's just, looking like this. She's like, they ask her, and the guy goes, how do you feel right now, to the lady? And I'm thinking, why would you ask her such a question? She's like, well, I don't have anything. She goes, but all I want is my dog. I don't know where he is. And all of a sudden, this dog just comes running up to her. And she was so happy. She had lost everything, but she had her dog, and that's all that really mattered. The forgiveness of people is amazing, whether it's stuff like this or crime or things like that. Like, I remember when I was younger, I don't know if you remember this, Donnie, but a man went into an Amish schoolhouse and killed.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Of course I do.
That wasn't far from my parents live about 10 minutes away from that.
Yeah.
And I remember the Amish families that involved with that were, they went to the woman of the guy that did it, and they forgave him, and they're very forgiving people, like very, very much past.
Yeah, right away they forgave him. Yep, you're right.
We were actually talking about Amish today on the show, and I kind of painted them as more of like the kind of people that stay to themselves, but they're very, very nice people. They,
Hardworking.
they're hardworking. They're nice people, and they forgive. I didn't know that,
Yeah,
Donnie. You
how did
lost.
you feel about that? Duke walks in with a semi-automatic weapon, blows that
Yeah,
entire school away, and all
yeah.
they
It
do is
was.
say, we're going to heal, we're going to rebuild the school, and we forgive the guy who did it. That was amazing. I do remember that.
Yeah,
About 10 years ago now, right? At least.
yeah. It was. It was really mad. It was really sad. And Donnie, this had me thinking last night. I was talking with Big Simon about this, and this is like totally nothing to do, but I've talked to you about this.
Mhm.
I was in Atlantic City last night, and
Yeah.
I've mentioned to you about the prostitution problem in Atlantic City. I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it's junkie city, and now that the casinos have closed for the most part, it really has opened up a blighty area of Atlantic
Yeah.
City where it's just shuttered. There's just criminals running around. It's just not good. But I was sitting at a stoplight last night again, like I had before, and I saw these girls. They didn't look much older than my own sister, and they looked like her too. I thought of her when I seen it, and I thought to myself, how do people get to that point? Where that's someone's daughter. I'm sure she has a family that wonder where she is, and you just see people like that. And it's just very sad. You want to go and help people like that, and you want to help everyone, but it's impossible to do. You're never going to be able to. But you ever wonder? You look at someone and say like,
They
"Wow,
have a family. Really,
how
yeah.
did yeah, like that's someone's daughter, that's someone's sister, that's someone's wife, that's someone's cousin or friend." And it's a shame because there was a guy with her, and you could tell he was her pimp or something. It's like guys like that just have to be the lowest form of people. It's just like you're forcing this woman to do stuff just for your sole base of thing.
What was the
It's a
show on
shame.
What was the show on HBO? It was like a mini series, like On the Point in New York City or something like
Yeah,
that.
Hunts Point. Yeah.
There you
Up
go.
in Hunts
Yeah.
Point. Yeah, that's a tough. That's like where truckers are and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Right, about. Yeah, big men. Yeah, I know they do. I don't know that she was that young, but she was just. You could tell she was like strung out. I mean, it's a shame because she thinks she's doing the right thing. She's so brainwashed that she thinks she's doing the right
I
thing.
need
But
protection.
yeah, it's a shame, man. But yeah, I hope the world in general gets better, and all we see anymore is just bad shit, man. Bad everything. The weather and nuclear weapons and psychopaths, and it's a shame. But Donnie, what else do we have going on tonight?
Yeah, not much
Anything?
in baseball day. I'm excited for the week to get started. I'll make my appearance, Jeff, on the daily right side of campus tomorrow. Held out a little bit
Yeah.
today.
By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, we're now on every day at 12:30 Eastern. The right side of campus, which we're excited about. We'll be getting involved with plenty of football talk and just
Nice
really
balance.
everything.
Show's going to be a nice balance because, you're going to have baseball. We're going to have that confluence of football and obviously college football. Then we're going to be getting into, college basketball. It's going to be a great show where, in 1 hour's time, we're going to pack instead of baseball, which we run down for an hour each day, we're going to pack maybe 4 sports into one show each and every day. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you get to those points in the winter where all the sports are going on. Basketball, college, NBA, hockey, college football, the NFL. Just so much stuff going on. It's pretty great. By the way, Donnie, did you see how many people stole the fight? Like they didn't pay
What is
for
it,
it.
like 3 million or something like that?
Yeah, I have a feeling Drew Martin. I have a feeling his bets might be in jeopardy there.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Maybe you can add that on there since they stole it. You know what I mean? They were really actually watching it.
Right. Donnie, interesting story here I found recently. And feel free, guys, if you have questions, feel free to send them in. We'll stay on for a couple more minutes here. I guess this is an interesting story. A British bartender, his shot paid off during the Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight Saturday night. He pretended to be part of Floyd Mayweather's security team in order to upgrade his seats to ringside from nosebleeds. He told the London Sun that he shouted Mayweather's team past security and they were never scanned his ticket. He then sat in the third row and took several photos with several celebrities like Jamie Foxx. So nice move by him to get in there. Again, I know you're a guy that doesn't enjoy Floyd Mayweather's bodyguard. Do you think they're typical
I didn't see the juice heads walking him out, though. I just saw.
Oh, they were in there. They were there.
They were? Oh, man.
Yeah. That guy's funny, the one guy. I follow him on Instagram. He's pretty funny. They eat that shit up, man. They get paid a lot too, man.
I'm sure he pays them quite well. Yeah.
Because who really goes to Floyd Mayweather? I mean, you really think there's many that do that?
That come out. I mean, I think it's more for like, I don't know, when you're worth that much money and you hang out, all the time, all over the place. And, Floyd's nocturnal as it is. I mean, the dude is out all night long. It's just what he does. I get where he's coming from because, again, he's not Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? He's a little guy. So, I mean, of course he could throw hands, but why not just have people around you all the time to protect you from that? Why do you? Because people want to test you. Hey, look, there's Floyd. I bet you I could take you. Had a couple beers, I'll take you. Come on, man.
We had to get to this story too because I find this to be repulsive. Really, that look, we've talked about this I think once or twice on the show, and whether it's a crime or not, I guess it is to the law due to the fact that she's a teacher and he's a student. But Donnie, listen to this story. Mm-hmm. A student had sex with a teacher at an infamous Brooklyn high school that's been known to have this stuff go on. Aaron Sire, 41, took a plea deal for multiple charges of statutory rape and sexual abuse. Not sure how this is rape, by the way. It was clearly consensual between both of them. The kid was 17, I believe, and so on and so on. They had sex multiple times, blah, 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 blah. He was a football player. She's an attractive teacher. The mother of the student is now suing her $10 million, citing the teen's emotional distress. She lost the suit against the city, but to the city last year, but the lawyers are continuing the case against the teacher, and I guess she lost. The teacher has to pay $750,000 to this kid, so he gets fucked by his teacher and then gets $750K on top of it.
Yeah, man, I don't.
You're really teaching that kid a lot about life. Way to go, Mom. Because
the funny thing about it is now you have all these guidelines these days, and I mean, wrong is wrong. It's wrong what happened, but back in the day, Jeff, before cell phones and Twitter and Facebook, the same shit that goes on right now happened 50 years ago and whatnot. Everybody heard rumors of this and that happening, or you have the exchange students where, hey, we're going to Russia for 2 weeks, with 7 high school kids, and whatever happens is whatever happens. It's just now that it gets caught up in all this and publicity, and you can't do this and throw them away or lock them up. Can't you just get the kid in the room and be like, hey, man, was this, like, did you want this to happen? And maybe if the kid breaks down and cries like, I didn't know what to do, I was scared. Be like, that's ridiculous, so we're going to have to press charges. But how many times is the kid going, yo, man, Miss Smith is banging, man. We hang out all the time. We smoke weed. We get it on. I don't know. And then you say, all right, you know what? We ain't pressing any charges.
Donnie, this kid and the teacher exchanged 3,800 texts in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
They had sex 12 times. And according to Ang, she picked him up from his house in her car. They had sex in the weight room next to the football room. I mean, how is this rape? Explain this to me. How is this rape? I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, it's just by definition of the law. That's all. You can't be a teacher. You can't be compromised in that position. Now, really, if it's the kid is smart, he gets that. He gets A's in high school because that's his girl. He could probably, get rides all over the place or use her car. Or she's going to give him money and PlayStations and Xboxes. How do you blow that up?
Amazing. Really amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And it's, again, good point by you. Stupid kid. I would have kept quiet about this. You keep it going. But
it's hard to, it's hard to keep. Now, see, keep quiet's like your parents, but I'm not going to lie, man. I'm telling my boys, you know what I mean? They're probably going to leak that story.
She's also said to provide him with marijuana, which she kept hiding her.
Yeah, see, there you go. Yep.
And again, I guess she didn't even give a shit because I guess she was tutoring the player in her office while his teammates were using the weight room next door. And this is when it all happened. So she didn't really even keep it, but kid, he's going to be rich now because he's going to get a ton of money. Plus,
and then Jeff, he's probably going to date her when she's out of jail or whatever.
Oh, for sure, and they'll get married, like Mary Kay Letourneau, right?
Well, by the way, do you remember the big story back a couple years ago? The high school kid and the teacher. The teacher was a Cincinnati Bengals cheerleader, and they got popped. She got sent into jail.
No, it was a Ravens cheerleader. I remember that.
Yeah. No, the Ravens one went to jail for good. Like they were mad at her. But these two, the Cincinnati Bengals cheerleader and the kid, he graduated high school, went to college. She got out of jail. They married and had a kid.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I don't really see the big deal here. Kid at 17 is clearly well aware of what's going on.
I think the husband was more pissed in that Ravens one. Like, damn, I just got like you're banging this 17-year-old high school kid over me. Press charges, God damn it.
I mean, look, if you don't want this to happen, don't hire like 25-year-old teachers that look fine as fuck. You put them in a high school. I mean, what do you expect to happen? They're basically high schoolers themselves. They're just out of college. You're putting them in with 18-year-old horny boys. Like, what do you expect to happen? I mean, come on. It's bad. It's stupid. Is it female teachers that have more sex with kids in the U.S.? It's more harsh on them. Yeah, it's definitely more harsh on them. I don't know.
More harsh on the male teachers is what that should say.
Oh yeah, good point.
Male teachers are going away for 20 years. The girl teachers get like a year and time served.
The kid should have come inside her. He would have definitely gotten paid. I'm not going to say shot up her club. I'm not going to steal that from someone else. But which, by the way, that is a pretty interesting way of looking at it. But yeah, he's going to get paid regardless. Shout out to that kid. Fucks his teacher and then gets paid
money for it. Yeah.
Basically, sex with her 12 times. He's going to get paid for that. And plus, he's like the G at school probably because, he did it. Yeah. She's not that hot, really, by the way. I guess, she might look different in real life. I don't know. She's okay, I guess. By the way, if you want that article, I can gladly send it to you. Donnie, any questions on the chat there? Did we get any questions?
Not too much. We're just going over female teachers banging kids and stuff like that. Normal.
The Flyers are retiring Eric Lindros' number, Donnie. Yes. Is that something the league should do?
The league should do? No, the league shouldn't do it. The Flyers probably should, though.
But you definitely think they should do it.
I would love to. Yeah, Eric Lindros retired. 88 can't be worn across the league from Lindros. Yes.
By the way, an interesting stance by the president of the Philippines. He was quoted as saying,
yes.
He was ordering police that it's okay to kill idiots who violently resist arrest.
I like it.
Again, his comment was, your duty requires you to overcome resistance of the person you're arresting. If you resist and it's violent, you're free to kill idiots. That's my order to you. Again, there is a big crime problem in Manila, by the way, from what I understand, but I'm not sure that was the best choice of words. You imagine if Trump said that here?
Oh my God! Yeah, like, hey, if you arrest somebody and they throw, you're trying to cuff them from behind, they throw you that back elbow, you just can light them up in the back of the head with a 6-pack.
Amazing, man. I often wonder like when he'll say something like that because he said some funny shit and he's also said some fucked up shit. That would be unbelievable. Let's wrap it up here, Donnie. Right side. Let's update some baseball scores. What do we got?
Baseball scores 6-1. Chicago Cubs over Pittsburgh right now. It's heading into the top of the 9th inning. That one should get done there. San Francisco, San Diego in a snore fest, as one would think. 0-0 in the top of the 3rd. Tampa Bay opens up a can on the Kansas City Royals, who will be shut out for the 4th straight game heading into the bottom of the 9th. 12-0. Angels, Jeff, up 1-0 over Oakland. And Detroit and Colorado stalled out a little bit at 4-3 right now, with Detroit in the lead.
BMOC and Donnie, who's the Cowboy you hate the most all time?
Mine's always Emmitt Smith.
Yeah. I actually didn't never mind Tony Romo. I always kind of liked.
No, I didn't know. Tony Romo wasn't a bad guy. Tony Romo wasn't hateable. He gave you nothing to hate him about at all whatsoever. That goofy quarterback who was really good and never talked smack. I never had any problems with Troy Aikman. I actually never had any problems with Michael Irving.
You know, a guy I
never had problems with was Emmitt Smith and Jay Novacek probably.
There were some guys defensively they had, like, you know what? I would probably say Des Bryant. I just can't.
Yeah, Jason Witten.
Jason Witten's kind of a prick. I don't know. Ezekiel Elliott's kind of getting there for me. If you're a Cowboy, I pretty much hate you. Big Man Adoni, who's your favorite stand-up comedian? I can't stand comedy. I don't like people.
Jimmy the Bag and Michael Driggs, my two favorites.
Here's what I'll say about comedy. I think people are funny when they don't try to be funny, when they're just funny. You know, when they just say shit that's funny and they make people laugh. Comedians are cool, I guess, if you're going to a comedy club, but I don't know. I've never been that big on the comedian.
Jeff, comedy myself, I'm not unless I can't. I know people that like to go to comedy shows. The Borgata has a rotating comedy show. Sure. I don't enjoy that type of comedy. Funny comedy to me is usually a lot of cursing, and 99.9% of the comedians I like are black comedians. That to me is funny shit. I don't know if I actually like white comedy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say I definitely don't like white comedy. I'll come out and say that. I do like Artie Lang. He's pretty funny.
I love there you go, good one on that one. I love Artie Lang.
And I mean, a lot of the Stern Show's funny, like a lot of the prank calls and shit they do and that kind of stuff. But like I said, I think some people just try too hard to be funny when they can just do their normal thing and be funny. Like people have called me funny. Like they say I'm funny a lot. Like what should I say? And I don't know, but I think when you try to be funny, you're usually not.
Guam brings it up there. Cat Williams, before he went crazy, I would roll around and piss myself on the floor with his comedy. Just absolutely can't stop laughing at Cat Williams.
Yeah, I'm definitely not that's a good point by you, Donnie, with the white comedian thing.
I'm a huge black comedian guy. That's what I think is funny to me.
Sure. But yeah, all right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Keep in mind and remember, we will be back tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern every day. The SBR presenters are all pretty funny, says Big Simon. Thank you, Big. We agree.
Funny like how? Funny like clowns?
I'm here to amuse you. I'm here to fucking make you laugh.
Yeah, come on.
But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 12:30. Catch us then. Donnie, what are you having to eat? I know you eat after the show, so.
I got to go up and grab some. We were on the boardwalk today, so I had my fill. I had mango pizza. I was,
Dude, admit to yourself something. Admit that it's some of the worst pizza ever created.
I like mango pizza. We eat it every single time we go to the boardwalk.
Yeah, I think it's really bad. By the way, what my dad thinks that he thinks that there's no way that they should be that big of a place, like their new building.
We ate at the new one today. It's enormous.
My dad's sure that there's drug dealers. Like he's sure of it. Like
the money they made. Again, the owners are going to jail, or I think he's already in jail
he's
at this point now for a year, hiding money. Just like he's an all cash business, makes hand over fist. But again, when greed sets in, greed is greed. So.
By the way, I did want to mention this to any SBR listener out there. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I wanted to find out if Paul was okay. I don't know if anyone knows who Paul is, but there's been a video circulating from many years ago on SBR of a guy named Paul who was scammed out of $40,000 by an old sports book, and we never got an update on him. And I was wondering if anyone had found out. Yeah, a Big Simon knows who I'm talking about. There's a guy named Paul. He did it was a video by Peter Loshak. It was about a guy that he was from it was like a gambler that was like a lifetime loser, and he basically had ran up a $40,000 bill on a book, and they never paid him.
He ran up or he won 40?
He won 40 grand, and he was so he was so sure that he wouldn't get paid that he started going to real casinos and betting the opposite of the place he was betting on the website to try to get his money back.
Jesus!
But then he was losing all his money in real life, and he still didn't get his money from the book.
Oh my God!
So it was quite the shit show. But I was wondering if anyone had a legitimate update on that. Jeff, me and your dad should chat conspiracy theories about what businesses are fronts. It's one of my favorite speculative topics. Me too. I agree 100% with that. We could have a field day in my town on that because there's plenty of them. He told Loshak he couldn't sleep and eat. Yeah, I know. And that's
how long ago was this? Is this recent?
No, this was probably like a couple years, like 3 or 4 years ago. But Peter did I'll have to send you the video. It was interesting because they actually had the guy call in, and he did try to cash out, dude. That's the point here. They wouldn't pay him.
Did we know what book it was or no?
Odds something. I don't know if they're still around, but I forget what it's called.
Jam. How about Bet Jam? Bet Jamaica.
They're still around, Bet Jamaica.
Are they really?
Yeah. The Greek. Odds Maker, I think it was. I think that's what it was called. Odds Maker. But yeah, we'll have to get an update on that. Everyone have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 on the right side of campus. Bye-bye.